The Titans wrapped up their preseason with a win over the Minnesota Vikings. Cam Ward's first time playing for real in Nissan Stadium. How did he look? How did his overall preseason look? We're going to talk about if Cam Ward is ready for the Denver Broncos. Plus, Van Jefferson with a huge bounce back performance, and a lot of bubble guys stepped up. Some did not. We're going to go through it all. This is the Music City Audible. Let's get to it. Welcome everyone to another episode of the Music City Audible podcast presented by Sinkers Beverages, the premier wine, spirits, and beer store in East Nashville in partnership with 440 Sports. I'm Justin Graver. With me, as always, Justin Melo. Justin, the Titans won again. 2-game win streak. Just kidding. How's it going?
I'm doing well. That was fun to watch the Titans on Friday night. It was a lot of fun to watch Cam Ward. Look, preseason finale, we all know a lot of those roster decisions have pretty much already been made. Like, especially those last 7-8 minutes of that game, I think both teams would have just accepted. Can we just fast forward to the end right now? But certainly, a couple spots up for grabs. Last opportunity for you to make a good impression. Final time some of these guys will wear that uniform. And these guys are human beings. That'll wear on them, right? There's a realization that comes with that final whistle when you're a roster bubble guy. But it was an exciting game for the most part. Again, I really enjoyed watching Cam Ward. The bounce back from Van Jefferson, if nothing, gave us, certainly gave us something to talk about. And I'm excited to go through it all with you today.
Yeah, definitely the highlight play of the game there was Van Jefferson, but we'll get to that in a second. We're going to start with Cam Ward's performance, as we always do on the unofficial Cam Ward channel here. Cam Ward played 2 drives. On the first drive, he attempted 1 pass. It was sort of a swing pass to Tyler Lockett that Lockett couldn't haul in. If he had hauled it in, he was probably going to get tackled almost immediately anyway. And then on that first third down, Dan Moore gets beat with an inside move. Cam Ward does a nice job recognizing it, getting outside the pocket, but there's just nothing open downfield. He might have had, I think it was Chimere Dike coming on a crosser on the opposite side of the field, but there was simply no way to get that ball there and no chance for Cam Ward to throw it with the pressure. So he made a smart decision, sort of just took it to the sideline, looking for something. Nobody there, runs out of bounds, picks up 1 yard. But not the best opening drive, not the greatest start. You get another good first down run for 4 yards. And that's been a theme of this preseason so far, is I think every game the Titans have opened with a handoff on their first offensive play, and it's been a successful handoff, but then something else happens on second down or third down, and the Titans are unable on their first drive of the game, again, to really get anything going. That has been a bit of a theme. I just wanted to quickly just air some frustration about the Tyler Lockett play. It's this better not be a play that's in this better be vanilla preseason thing, because I do not need to see Tyler Lockett being the recipient of any screens, of any swing passes, of any of this easy access short at the line of scrimmage stuff where you're asking Tyler Lockett to go make somebody miss and pick up yards after catch. This is Tyler Lockett, the guy who more than anyone else in the NFL wants to catch the ball and drop to the turf. That's what he's famous for. I can't imagine how these install conversations go where it's and Tyler, you're going to be in this position here where you're catching the swing pass. Hopefully you can make this first defender miss and pick up some yards after catch. They ran a screen pass for him in the first preseason game. They run a swing pass for him in this game. If that's Chimere Dike, if that's basically anyone else on the roster.
Literally anyone else. Yeah.
Literally. I'm okay with it. But why are we doing this with Tyler Lockett? Someone explain it to me.
I'm hoping that's just preseason vanilla BS, right? Maybe you don't want to show Chimere Dike on that play, or you don't want to show even Alec Iomanner, who's pretty shifty for his size and space. I mean, we saw it in that second preseason game where he took the first completion for 35 yards, right? Look what Van Jefferson did last night. Bryce Oliver, Calvin Ridley. I think literally James Prochet has got some speed, and that's why he's a special teams guy. Literally all of them, I think, are better in that situation than Tyler Lockett is.
So anyway, that's really neither here nor there. I just wanted to air some frustration there. Titans defense gives up a field goal on the ensuing possession. We'll get to the Titans defense because basically every starter except for L'Jarius Sneed was out there playing. And then the Titans get the ball back after that, and this is where just a really nice orchestration by Brian Callahan calling the plays, by the offensive line up front, moving bodies, granted backup bodies, but still moving bodies. The Titans offensive line had 3 backups in themselves. So it's an impressive performance, I would say. And the Titans lead a 13-play, 90-yard drive and finish it off in the end zone. And Cam Ward looked great on this drive. Like, I don't have hardly any complaints with how this drive went. I mean, maybe somebody will say that he should have stepped into the first throw of the drive, a nice whipped laser crossing route to the sideline to Van Jefferson. He sort of sidesteps instead of steps into it. But if he's going to make a throw like that, I don't need him to step forward if he's going to make throws like that.
I had someone text me right after that throw and say the amount of velocity he generates from that platform is kind of wild. Like, I got that throw was my second favorite one of the entire preseason. Like, the favorite was the one that Van Jefferson dropped, obviously, right? Because that was, but I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought this one was right there. Like, dude, that is on his own goal line. He is standing on his goal line when he releases that ball, right? Because as you said, that drive started about the 10. You know, he's got a couple step drop there. He's essentially on his goal line. There's pressure coming, okay? The confidence to just make that throw. That throw goes from the goal line without stepping into it, as you said, to what? I think it was like the 27-yard line, 26-yard line where it was caught. It was beyond the 25-yard line, a little short of the 30. But am I the only one? Like, I was blown away by that. That throw made me go, this guy's going to be good. Like, that's one of those, maybe you overreact too slightly, but you're like, this guy can make that throw. Holy crap. Like, that was a holy crap 10 out of 10 throw for me.
And watching it live, I almost had a moment where I was like, get rid of the ball, because you have the guy coming around his right tackle, Cam Ward's right side, left side of the defense. And he takes that snap and he starts sort of drifting a little to his left. But I think there's a difference, Justin, between a quarterback drifting unnecessarily or aimlessly in the pocket and a quarterback who is sliding away from pressure instinctively, which you see Cam Ward do a lot. He slides in the pocket to open lanes for him to throw the ball or to navigate away from where he feels the pressure is about to come from. And then he throws the ball almost at the last second. I've talked about this multiple times, how he just has this innate ability to understand how long he has to get rid of the ball. And again, I think there will be a moment in the regular season where he gets absolutely lit up because he's holding it too long, and the one time he doesn't sense it. But he does have such a good feel for spatial awareness and for what's happening in the pocket around him that I trust him to get rid of the ball when he needs to. And that was a great example of it. Then Titans start running the ball down the throat of the Minnesota Vikings. Khalil Mullings rips off a 17-yard run, one of the nicest runs of the preseason for him. And then a 5-yard run. Cam Ward hits Alec Iamaner on a short pass that goes for 13 yards. That was another nice, quick top of your drop, get the ball out, good decision, good accurate ball. And then Cam Ward only threw one more pass on this drive. There was a third down pass over the middle that didn't count because of a defensive holding penalty, gave them an automatic first down. Next play, Cam Ward hits Alec Iamaner just in front of the goal line. I jumped off the couch in this moment, Justin. When Iamaner caught that ball at like the 3-yard line, I jumped up and I was like, this is it. This is going to be it. My Cam Ward touchdown. We're going to get it. Iamaner stretches for the goal line. Justin, it was like the Super Bowl all over again. Comes up half a yard short.
I think you were just as sad about it too, probably, the Super Bowl. But that was an even quicker decision, if I'm recalling correctly. Like, he got that ball out so quickly. Great decision. Tackled at the goal line. Unfortunately, we didn't get our touchdown. Not the end of the world to me. They punch it in for a touchdown shortly thereafter. I knew right there that would be the end of Cam Ward's night. Yeah. I mean, you said 13. I thought it was a 14-play drive. Maybe the penalties were.
Yeah, it says 13-play drive in the ESPN play-by-play here.
There you go. So 13-play, like 90-yard drive. Like, that's the second long touchdown drive he had orchestrated. There was the one against the Falcons that was more of the same. I think I'll put a bow on it by saying this. Like, no, Cam Ward didn't throw a touchdown in the preseason. He also didn't turn the football over. I thought he played so well throughout this preseason. I think he inspired a ton of confidence in himself. The coaching staff has to feel so good. He protected the ball. He looked accurate. He made great decisions. He navigated the pocket. There was a little bit of creating off scripts with that 35-yard to Alec Iamaner. There was, in my opinion, in very little playing time, 10 out of 10 throws that dropped to Van Jefferson. This one that he completed that we're talking, I called this one a frozen rope. Like, that was just on a line. It was beautiful. Like, for me, the accuracy, the ball placement, everything about what Cam Ward did in the preseason, there is such little to nitpick, right? Like, there was the would-be interception against the Bucs. Yeah, I think you'd like to have that one back, but it was a great play by the defender as we went through it. And Drew Beatty went through it as well on his breakdown.
And something messed up with the route concept because Chigakonkwo was
Jake
like 5 yards too deep.
Yeah. Or he gets too much. Was it too much depth? I can't recall.
Too much depth. He needed to pull the corner to the flat, and he's like 12 yards downfield.
Right. He gets too much depth, correct. So, but for me, such little nitpicking, honestly, about Cam Ward in this preseason. I feel great about putting a bow on what he did in these 3 games.
Yeah, the final numbers don't pop, especially when you got guys like Jackson Dart, who's been throwing it 25, 35 times a game in preseason, and all the rookies get compared to each other because that's the way it is. And Jackson Dart's throwing touchdowns, and everyone's like, oh, Jackson Dart, is this guy going to be something? And it's like nobody remembers the fact that they are calling a extremely simplified offense for him in New York, where it's just all screens, quick one read throws, and then go balls. He's playing against second and third string guys. Nobody's game planning for him. Like, let's just calm down on the Jackson Dart love fast for a second. But Cam Ward's final preseason stat line, 10 of 19 passing. That's 52.6% completion, 145 yards at 7.6 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, no interceptions, a quarterback rating of 77.7, which isn't amazing. In one turnover worthy play that you just talked about, no big time throws according to PFF, which doesn't make sense to me because I would count at least 2, the ones you described.
Yeah, at least
10 of 19 though, like you'd like to see that completion percentage number be higher, but this is pretty small sample size. That comes out to just over 6 attempts per game, which is not very many. He was 3 of 4 in this game, and you had the drop in there. You had a couple of plays that, the screen that got blown up, that third down play last week.
DK could have caught that 1 third down that was perfectly placed away from the defender. So there were a couple balls that hit receivers in the hands. It wasn't just the Van Jefferson one that we spotlighted.
And Van Jefferson had a drop in the first game too. So the numbers could be better than they are, but I think something Brian Callahan said stuck out to me in the post-game press conference last night.
He's going to be able to make the big plays. That's what he does. And he's going to be able to move around more when I don't have the governor on him to don't take any hits.
Now I'm thinking, okay, this is why we're running the ball. We're attempting 3 passes on a 13-play drive. Only 3 of those plays are passes. Of course, one was sacked too. He did take a sack, so that's a 4th pass that you called. There was a holding penalty that was on a pass, so it's a 5th pass that you called. 5 out of 14 though is still just over a third of the plays. You're running the ball the rest of the time. I even said jokingly in our group chat, like, if you're going to run it on 70% of your plays, draft Abdul Carter number 1 overall. Like, what the heck? We all came here to watch Cam Ward. That was a joke, obviously. Callahan even said in the press conference after, like, he opened his press conference with,
I think first and foremost, I think it's thank our fans for showing up today. I thought that was a pretty good showing for a Friday night preseason game. It was good energy in the stadium. That was pretty cool to see. I know everyone wants to come see Cam play, so that's a good thing. But
it's like, then let us see Cam Ward. But then he says this in the postgame that there has been a governor on him to avoid him from taking too many hits, that they have been calling these like 1-step, 3-step drop, get the ball out type stuff, the swing pass to Tyler Lockett. Like, all this stuff is not the offense that the Titans are going to run because there's been a governor on it. That blew my mind and made me excited for week 1 all over again. And, the fact that he's got decent numbers with a governor on, just as exciting. And it makes me wonder what the Titans offense is actually going to look like, because it makes me think what we just saw for 3 weeks is not really the real thing.
No. I mean, it usually isn't, right? Like, everything he said, I always say it. I love hearing Brian Callahan talk because I'm like, yes, that makes sense. Yes, that makes sense. Everything he says. So, I mean, he's a number 1 overall pick. Like, you don't want him to get hit. You don't want to show too much. And, when you're a team that's kind of, I don't want to say back against the wall, but you're coming off a 3-win season. No one has expectations for you. I think you try to find every advantage you can. And if you can shock the Denver Broncos with what your offense looks like, I mean, maybe that tips the scale just a little bit, because everyone thinks they're going to get blown out in week 1, at least nationally. That's been the word. I think it's got the biggest spread pretty much of any week 1 game. So if you can, hide as much as you can, surprise them as much as you can. And if Cam Ward comes out and just balls out in that game, because no one knows what it's going to look like, then you're going to come out of there maybe with an upset win, and you'd feel really, really good about that.
Yeah, Denver 8-point favorites as we sit here right now. We know crazy things happen in week 1. Week 1 always a liar, and we're not gonna preview week 1 right now, but that might be a game where you don't want him to pass the ball a lot because they might have the best secondary in the NFL and one of the best pass rushes too. So anyway, we'll see. Lots to discuss before we get to Denver. But other things happen in this game, Justin, we need to talk about real quick though. Let's first remind everyone that August 31st is fast approaching. It is August 23rd today. That means August 31st is just over a week away. And if you wait beyond August 31st, you will never have a chance to get the 2025 edition, re-release special edition of Titans of the South, written by our very own Justin Melo. That comes with free shipping. By the way, titansofthesouth.com, $25 includes shipping, and it comes with a free gift, an illustrated player trading card of the Titans rookie quarterback. This is an object that in 10 years from now, you're going to be so thankful you bought it. When Cam Ward in 15 years is getting fitted for his gold jacket, you're going to be extremely thankful that you bought this book when you could, when you had the chance, because it's the resale market. Justin, what do you think the resale market on this book is going to be in 10 years? Titansofthesouth.com. Go get your copy. You have until August 31st. Once that deadline passes, you can still order the original version of the book wherever you get books, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, whatever, but you cannot get this special edition past August 31st. Also, Justin, I believe people have been receiving some shipping confirmation emails. The book should be shipping out early next week, is what I understand. Is that right?
I've got an update for you. I was so glad to see you guys dropping comments on the last video saying, I just got my shipping. I got my order confirmation, Titans of the South. The publisher has been reaching out to you guys, everyone who's purchased it, one by one. Been a lot of emails going out to just reconfirm your shipping address. You know, if some of you ordered it 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, it was a pre-order. Don't want to ship it to the wrong address. In fact, we've actually had two handfuls of people that said, oh, I actually moved since I placed the order. So that's why we're doing that. Starting this Monday, books are going out. Guaranteed shipping this Monday. Now, we're a mom and pop operation, small publisher umbrella that I'm under. It's going to take we've sold hundreds of copies of 2025 version. It's going to take about a week to get them all out. But starting this Monday, hopefully you're one of the lucky ones that's the first or the second to get their book shipped to you. But every day we're shipping about 150 copies starting this Monday. So give it about a week for yours to get out. But because you've been getting those emails confirming your shipping, we are closer than we've ever been. As Graver said, August 31st, the last day to get in your copy. After that, of course, the orders, the shipping will start trickling out still to you. So if you're late on it, yours might not go out this Monday, obviously, but you will get it, hopefully the 31st is the last day that we're actually shipping out. So once you see that player illustrated trading card, Graver, I don't care if I'm hyping it up. Like, come in the comments. Tell me if I was wrong. Tell me I had the Graver. You've seen it. You thought it was a real photo. Like, the artist knocked this shit out of the park. This trading card illustration is gorgeous. 10 out of 10 in my opinion. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I really can't.
Yeah, so get your copy, titansofthesouth.com. And thanks to everyone who's helping push us towards our goal here, because it's, as a channel, we have 50, as I record this, we have 4563 subscribers, and we're trying to get to 4750 by the end of week 1. That's not that far away, so we need you guys to mash that subscribe button, like the video, drop a comment below, and whenever you receive your Titans of the South book, whether that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, come into that day's episode and drop it in the comments. I just got my book. We want to see your reactions when you receive it. So let's continue forward, Justin. Also, check out sinkersbeverages.com to join the in-crowd for free and exclusive perks. Thanks to Sinkers Beverages for supporting the channel. Let's talk about Van Jefferson. Jefferson, huge bounce-back game. I mean, statistically, an insane game, I think, for a preseason game for a guy who I don't think he played in the second half. 3 catches, 102 yards, and a touchdown, including a 65-yard touchdown from Brandon Allen on a play where I was fairly impressed with Brandon Allen because it felt like he didn't see a pre-snap blitz, but as soon as he snapped the ball, he realized this guy's blitzing me off the edge hot. He throws the hot to Van Jefferson, who makes the defender trip over his shoelaces, or the turf monster got him or something. I don't know. This defender almost falls down. It's like when you're playing Madden and they complete a pass outside and you're just like, switch player, tackle, switch player, tackle, switch player, tackle. It's like somebody switch playered and tackled before he could actually make the tackle. Van Jefferson makes this guy miss and just sprints down the sideline. I'm like, holy cow, I did not know Van Jefferson had those kind of jets.
Same.
Takes it all the way to the house. What a play.
Remember, he ran like a 4.39 at the combine. I thought he was way removed from that. But no, the speed impressed me. And look, what else can you say about Van Jefferson other than good for him, in all honesty? Like, we dogged on him a lot. I get it. But, human being, that drop, I'm sure bothered him. Social media destroyed him. No way he didn't see it, right? Even Brian Callahan said it, like, oh, he got beat up pretty bad online for the drop last week. First the catch, the frozen rope from Cam Ward, I thought great hauling that in. Not an easy catch in my opinion. Good that he hauled that in. That 65-yard touchdown, maybe a little bit of luck with the corner, kind of losing his feet. But honestly, like if you watch it subtly, he like fakes a move.
Yeah.
Honestly, I guess inside and then breaks back outside. Like that probably played a role in the corner losing his footing and then just outruns everyone to the end zone. Like beautiful play for Van Jefferson. Good for him. I do think he's going to make this roster.
Of course.
And he was hitting the jugs after that drop. Like he put in the work. He took accountability when he spoke at practice. Good for him to see him come up with this big performance.
And he reportedly had a really good week of practice. Even Brian Callahan said in the postgame press conference, I didn't know he had that kind of speed. Like his head coach was shocked at how fast he ran down the sideline on that play. And I don't care if it was against backups or whoever, because a lot of times these random guys who are backups are even getting a shot to play because they have incredible speed and they aren't good at anything else. They don't have good technique, or they don't make plays, but they have the speed. They're more athletes than football players, and nobody was close to catching Van Jefferson on this play. So that is incredibly impressive. And he's definitely making this team. I will say, I'm just going to borrow a joke from Zach Lyons here real quick. It is a shame that Titans fans cut him last week because, he could have had such a good season. He could have had such a big game here, this 65-yard touchdown that never happened because Titans fans, including myself, cut him after the last preseason game. Well, it's nice to see the coaching staff is smarter than us, and they see a lot more than we see. And Van Jefferson's definitely making the team. And honestly, if he can make plays like this and he stops dropping the ball, like he should play. He should play a decent amount. He should play more than the rookies who are still making their fair share of mistakes here. I do think, like, when we talk about the rookies, which we're not doing yet, but Ian Manor has impressed me a lot more than DK as a wide receiver. DK does look like a good special teams player. That was an aside, but yeah, Van Jefferson's going to make the team. He's going to play a decent amount, at least in the early part of the year as the rookies are acclimating, and that's okay. If he got speed like this, he can make plays like this.
Yeah, you
let him.
We'll see.
Yeah. Right.
I'm going to run through a little bit of rapid fire, if you don't mind, on some of the other stuff that we want to touch on a little quicker than we went through Cam Ward and Van Jefferson. The linebacker battle. Cedric Gray gets a start for the second straight week. Thought he looked good again, 5 tackles. I think the thing that sticks out to me is he's playing with a lot of confidence. I think you see that too. Like he's triggering downhill with violence, quickness, aggression. He's being physical. You just see that he's enjoying it right now. Like he's playing football at a high level and he's having fun. And no doubt last year, the injury, rookie year wiped out for the most part, took a bit of a toll on him. And that's not fun, so good for him. He looks like he's playing with a lot of fun. I don't know who's going to win this. Like James Williams then comes in and has an interception on a tipped ball. Like this is good versus good right now, and that's a good problem to have for the Titans. It's a lot of fun. I don't know who's going to start week 1. I'll say this. I don't know. Like, this is not a battle at right guard. Do you even need to name a starter? I don't know that they will, because at linebacker, personnel, packages, like they're probably both going to play. They're going to mix it up. Now, one of them is going to take the first snap next to Cody Barton in week 1, and one of them is going to play the majority of snaps in base defense. That could be the guy that we anoint as the winner of this competition. Forever, for so long, we thought that was definitely going to be James Williams. Like, now I'm not so sure. Like, Gray's playing really well, and they've been complimentary of him. Like, I don't have a whole lot to say about it because it's a good problem to have, and I don't know that we're going to get an answer until that first defensive snap in Denver, but love the way both of them are playing right now.
I think you got to play each guy to his strengths, because even on the first third down of the game for Minnesota here, they complete a pass sort of like in that hook area, zone coverage area. That was Cedric Gray's zone, and he didn't get there, and he didn't get there in time. He made the tackle on the catch, but he didn't get there. He was late in coverage, wasn't where he was supposed to be in coverage. That's a big third down play. I think Cedric Gray's strengths is downhill thumping, and he's still figuring out how to play in space on third downs. James Williams is pretty good downhill thumping, but really good playing in space on third downs. I don't want to say really good, but like a lot better than Cedric Gray anyway, in terms of he feels like a natural coverage backer because he has a background as a safety. Why not play him that way? And I think that's how you're going to play them. I think Cedric Gray was on the field for that first third down because they're like, all right, let's see what you got. This is a test. This is part of the competition. But in a real game situation, you run Cedric Gray out there for first down. If it's second and short, maybe you keep Cedric Gray out there. Or if this other team has a tendency of, they pass the ball on 70% of second and eights, then you throw James Williams out there. You figure out what you're expecting the other team to do, and you put the linebacker out there that gives you the best, the best look against that potential offensive play. And then throughout the season, somebody's going to get hurt at some point, and you feel pretty good about one of these two guys having to play the whole game because they've both been fairly impressive. They're not amazing on every snap, but I think we were really worried going into this season that linebacker, especially linebacker 2, was going to be like the weakest spot on the Titans defense. And I don't feel that way anymore at all. I mean, obviously we know edge rusher is a huge weak link, but the inside linebacker spot, I almost feel good about given the way that James Williams and Cedric Gray have played, and we are pretty confident in Cody Barton. So I think that's how they're going to use them. They're going to put James Williams in passing situations and Cedric Gray in obvious run situations. And we'll see, if those roles change or develop throughout the course of the season. But that's how I think you'll see it in Denver week 1.
I think we all feel a lot better about that spot than we did 2 months ago. So, of course, they still got to prove it in the regular season, and they're young, they're inexperienced. I think coverage is a bit of a question, especially for Gray. So we'll see, but I do feel pretty good about that spot right now. Talk a little Xavier Restrepo, for the first time, I believe, played in the second quarter of this game.
Yeah.
Had not done that, at least on offense, of course, in the first 2 preseason games. 1 catch for 8 yards, had a ball.
That was a nice catch.
It was.
A combat catch that was a ball thrown in harm's way. And the first throw that was to him, I will just defend him. He runs an out route. He creates separation and he's open. And the throw is so late and behind him that it allows the defensive back to come in and break it up. But the second throw to him, the catch that he made, that was it looked like it was going to be intercepted. And Restrepo comes back to the ball, fights through contact to make the grab. It was an impressive play. Now, that said, I think we all see the writing on the wall for Xavier Restrepo.
1 catch for 8 yards, still probably, I don't know how much he could have done, but not enough, I think, to change the way that this is going. He's going to be... Yeah, you're going to say it. He's going to be a practice squad guy. I think so. I don't think people are so afraid of him getting claimed. I can't imagine that he gets claimed. I mean, he could have negotiated with 32 teams when he was an undrafted free agency. Why didn't someone draft him in the 7th round, right? I think he's probably a practice squad guy. I don't think the Titans got to fear losing him. Quickly on the running back battle, death taxes, Julius Chestnut running the ball well in the preseason. I mean, that hurdle was phenomenal. Thought he looked good. I think he's fairly safe, especially I thought he wasn't safe a month ago even, when I was doing my 53-man roster projections and Tajay Spears was healthy. I had Khalil Mullings in that RB3 role. Either they're keeping 4 on the 53 or Tajay's going to IR and not counting. Those are the only 2 outcomes in my opinion. I think Chestnut is safe. I think, Mullings I thought looked pretty good running the ball as well. Had an ankle injury, but Brian Callahan said it's not serious. I think Jordan Mims and Jamar Jefferson are damn good. They're NFL caliber running backs. They both, there was one part, I think it was Jefferson, had a nice run in the second half. Then he caught a swing ball on the next snap, just caught it in stride. So beautiful. Picked up another first down after a 15-yard run. Both these guys are NFL caliber running backs. Don't think they're keeping either of them, unfortunately, but I think I would love to get both on the practice squad, to be honest with you. Both, not even just one.
Yeah.
But I think this is probably going to be fairly cut and dry. The only question for me is whether Tajay Spears is on 53 or IR. But either way, it changes nothing because I've got Chestnut and Mullings as the other 2, no matter what happens there.
Yeah, and I like Mims and Jefferson too, and I think you definitely get at least one of them on the practice squad because you already have an injury to Tajay Spears. Khalil Mullings had a sort of injury scare. Yeah. Somebody's going to get hurt at some point, and you're going to call one of these guys up. So, yeah, maybe they try to get both on the practice squad. Maybe they only get one. I definitely think that's something that we'll see. A couple more shout-outs. Bryce Oliver. I mean, Titans fans on Twitter in the first half were fed up with every possible idea of a screenplay. Stop calling screenplays as if every team in the league doesn't call a handful of screenplays a game. They call one to Bryce Oliver. He hurdles a guy on the sideline, and while he's midair hurdling one defender, he's stiff-arming another defender. The Titans sideline was losing their minds watching Bryce Oliver make this play. He made another contested catch over the middle of the field. Bryce Oliver's a dude. He's going to get his fair share of snaps. I think he's going to make his fair share of plays this year. Another shout out goes to James Lynch. You mentioned James Williams' interception. Obviously, James Lynch was the guy there putting pressure on the quarterback, on Brett Rippon. But by the way, I was watching the Cowboys documentary, the Jerry Jones documentary last night, and in the second episode, they're playing the Washington team, and Mark Rippon is playing quarterback, and I, nudged Jessica, and I was like, Jessica, look, that's Mark Rippon. The Titans played his son tonight. How crazy is that?
I'm sure she loves that. I'm sure she was.
Yeah, she was like, cool. I don't care. So anyway, good job by James Lynch there. And then I really want to talk about the backup lineman on the offensive line really quick, because obviously Corey Levin's been playing for Lloyd Cushenberry, but Kevin Zeitler didn't play in this game. J.C. Latham didn't play in this game. Dan Moore and Peter Skoronski did. They started alongside Corey Levin, Blake Hance at right guard, and Oli Udo at right tackle. And they were okay. I mean, granted, they're playing against a backup defensive line, but I didn't see any issues. In fact, the one pressure that was given up quickly was by Dan Moore on that first drive. And then there was a sack that they gave up towards the end of that second drive, but I didn't really feel like it was any one player's fault. It felt like the pocket just sort of collapsed. Ward tried to step up correctly, and then the interior pressure got to him. It was only a 3-yard loss, I think. So if you're going to take a sack, a 3-yard loss kind of sack is the way to go. But interesting to see that it does definitely feel like the Titans are telling us who their key backups on the O-line are with the way they rolled these guys out. Levin is your backup center. Blake Hance is your backup guard at either spot. And Oli Udo is your first tackle off the bench at either spot. Those 8 guys are making the roster, and then it's a competition for the rest. Jackson Slater is making the roster. That might be it. It might be those 9 guys. If you keep a 10th, who is it? Jalen Duncan, John Ojukwu was the extra O-line off the bench when they on that 4th and 1 play where Julius Chestnut hurdled a guy. John Ojukwu was the first guy to come in there. So is he a 10th offensive lineman you keep? Is he someone you try to get on the practice squad and maybe he's like a practice squad elevation for the first 2 or 3 weeks? Like, it's interesting that I think Jalen Duncan is probably not on this roster come September 7th. Easton Freeze actually reported that the Titans might be able to trade him, and that would be a win, a huge win. If the guy they're going to cut, if they can net some draft capital for him, then by all means, please. Anyway, I don't have any other notes, so if you want to respond to that and give any last takeaways, we can get out of here.
Yeah, I think Oli Udo, I've been surprised by his sort of rise up the depth chart, if you will. Ascent. Yeah. It does seem like he is the 3rd tackle right now. Blake Hance is safe. I've been saying since they signed him, he plays like 4 positions. He plays tackle too, so they love that. I think John Ojukwu does make the roster. I mean, maybe they can get him on the practice squad and elevate him, as you said, but they really value that skill set as the 6th. I think in the first quarter, when they went to 6 jumbo linemen, they brought him in. Like, they really use him as walking tight end almost, right? Like, so I think he probably makes the team one way or another. Duncan seems like the odd man out. Maybe Andrew Rupsich, I think, doesn't make it either. But they've got good depth on the O-line. I've been telling my buddy Lomas over at Titans Size, we were talking about waiver claims. I'm like, I don't think they claim an offensive lineman. I really don't.
No way.
I like the depth that they have here. So,
and they got Brendan. They got Brendan Crenshaw Dixon, who they like too. And this is the last thing I'll say on it. Sorry, I know we're running long, but if they keep 4 running backs now, they have to because Tajay Spears is injured. Maybe it's only 3 on the active roster, and you get away with that. But if they keep 4 running backs and 7 wide receivers, they're going to have a tough time keeping 10 offensive linemen. That's like an sort of an extra player at each one of those spots. The math is going to get tricky there, so we'll see how it all shakes out. But any final thoughts on this game, Justin, or should we run through our upcoming schedule real quick here?
Last thing I'll say is at safety. Tough decision there. I'm going to run rapid fire here, but tough decision there. Can't wait to see what they do. I thought Julius Wood got screwed out of that interception. Yeah. I think everyone thinks Mike Brown is the number 5 safety. I could get why you think he's the favorite. He played a lot of special teams throughout his career in Tennessee, and he's good at it. But I'm starting to think Julius Wood should get that 5th spot. I think he could play up special teams too. He's got a bit more upside on defense. So. And I think he's also would be likely to get claimed, to be honest with you. I do. I think Wood would get claimed if they cut him, and you got to factor that into the decision too. Maybe I can cut Brown and get him on the practice squad, but I can't do the same with Wood. Mm-hmm. So really fascinated to see what they do at safety.
Kendall Brooks, by the way, I mean, he had the pick 6 last week. He had He flashed to me in this game too. He had one play where I think it was like a short throw to a running back or a tight end or somebody, and he drives on this pass from like 20 yards off the line of scrimmage and gets there right as the ball's arriving and lays the wood, not the Julius wood, but lays the wood, and this catch goes for like a 2-yard gain. And it was like when the ball was released, this player was wide open, and it was just a really good recognition and really good drive on the ball. He made a couple of good plays in this game as well. So it's a tough decision. I think Kendall Brooks is definitely a practice squad target, though, because, you know, all the injuries they had last year at safety, if somebody gets hurt this year, you feel okay. I mean, as a UDFA guy, as good as you can feel about a UDFA, I think you feel okay. All right, Justin, that does it for this recap. Let's quickly tell the people what we got going on. Monday, we will be back to do our final 53-man roster projection. I'm probably only going to have 48 guys on mine. I mean, we'll see. I haven't really looked at it too closely yet. Maybe I'll get to 53, but I feel dumb for projecting more than 53 or more than 48. Or I feel dumb projecting a full 53 because I know that after Wednesday, when the waiver claims process, like at least 5 guys are going to be waived and claimed. At least that's what we expect to happen based on what Mike Borgonzi said and based on the state of this roster. So we'll see. And then Tuesday, we are going to do a cut down day live stream, but we're going to do it a little different, Justin, because we don't want to sit around and wait all day for the final 53 to come out at like 6 p.m. Central Time. We're not going to stream that late. We're going to go live around 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, or Central Daylight Time. I shouldn't say standard or daylight because I don't know the difference. We're going to go live around 1 p.m. Central Time, and we're going to be live for like 30, 35 minutes. Maybe we'll get some live roster news to react to. We'll react to the players, you know, Monday morning, Tuesday morning when everyone wakes up. There's going to be cuts released, announced, like 8. Titans have waived 8 guys. Like, we'll be able to react to a decent amount of news, but rather than react right at the deadline or react to the initial 53, again, we know so many guys are going to be waived and claimed that we'd rather come back the next day after some of those new moves have processed and react to what we then have as a 53-man roster going into the season. So that's what's coming up.
Maybe we do it late enough that we should probably wait for the waiver claim
on
process, Wednesday, because they're going to claim a bunch of guys. So it would be smart of us to get that into Wednesday's episode. So we might be back a little later Wednesday, but it'll be to your benefit because that info is going to be, really important.
And then Thursday, we probably will have a practice squad to react to. And so that's probably what we'll do on Thursday, and we'll see if that is the case or not. But anyway, that's what's coming up on the Music City Audible. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like this video, drop a comment below, and go to titansofthesouth.com, get a book, go to sinkersbeverages.com, join the in crowd, and we'll see y'all on Monday. So until then, y'all stay safe out there and tighten up.
Tighten up.
A Broadway sports media production.